Frozen fish seems like a smart choice. Convenient, protein-rich, heart-healthy omega-3s. But for seniors, deadly risks hide beneath that icy glaze. From mercury-poisoned fillets to bacteria-laden seafood and fraudulent labeling, some frozen fish brands are threatening your blood pressure, kidney function, and heart health. Today, we're exposing 9 frozen fish brands you should avoid at all costs, and the 2 that are actually safe to eat. Coming in at number 9, we've got Gorton's frozen fish. For decades, Gorton's promised wholesome, ocean-fresh fish sticks and fillets. Voici, the yellow and blue box was a symbol of trust in American freezers. But recent FDA inspections revealed a darker reality. Multiple production facilities were cited for unsanitary conditions, including visible mold growth on processing equipment and inadequate temperature controls during storage. Seniors with compromised immune systems are especially vulnerable to bacterial infections from improperly stored seafood. The pollock and cod fillets, marketed as heart-healthy protein, were found in some batches to contain elevated mercury levels, dangerous for anyone on blood thinners or managing kidney disease. Mercury accumulates in your body over time, silently damaging organs while you believe you're eating clean. The crispy golden breading hides what your kidneys cannot process. Inspection reports documented fish stored at temperatures warm enough to allow bacterial proliferation. Listeria and Salmonella thrive in these conditions. For seniors on immunosuppressant medications or chemotherapy, even a small bacterial load can escalate into life-threatening sepsis. The brand's promise of "trusted since 1849" rings hollow when FDA documents show repeated violations. Gorton's advertises omega-3 benefits, but contaminated fish negates any nutritional value. The smell of the breaded fillets may seem normal, slightly fishy, slightly fried, but underneath, bacterial colonies multiply unseen. Seniors managing high blood pressure are told to eat more fish, yet Gorton's frozen products can contain hidden sodium levels far exceeding labeled amounts, spiking blood pressure dangerously. The betrayal cuts deep. What you thought was protecting your heart could be poisoning your kidneys. Coming in at number 8, Mrs. Paul's frozen seafood. Mrs. Paul's has been a freezer aisle staple for generations, promising family-friendly fish sticks and crunchy fillets, but behind the nostalgic branding lies a troubling pattern of contamination and deceptive labeling. FDA testing revealed that certain batches of Mrs. Paul's fish products contained unlabeled allergens, including undisclosed shellfish proteins mixed into supposedly pure whitefish fillets. For seniors with shellfish allergies or sensitivities, this cross-contamination can trigger anaphylactic shock or severe digestive distress. The company claims rigorous quality control, but inspection records tell another story. Processing plants were cited for inadequate sanitation protocols and failure to maintain proper freezing temperatures during transport. Fish that appears solid and icy may have already thawed and refrozen multiple times, creating perfect conditions for bacterial growth. Seniors are particularly susceptible to foodborne pathogens, like Vibrio vulnificus, which can cause fatal infections in those with liver disease or diabetes. Mrs. Paul's breaded cod and haddock products tested positive for histamine contamination in several state-level inspections. Histamine poisoning causes flushing, headaches, and dangerously low blood pressure, especially risky for seniors on heart medications. The golden, crunchy exterior masks the interior reality. Fish flesh that may be teeming with bacteria or spoiled proteins. The brand markets itself as convenient and wholesome, yet lab analysis found some products contained fish species entirely different from what was labeled. Cheaper, lower-quality substitutes passed off as premium cod or haddock. This seafood fraud isn't just dishonest, it's dangerous. Different fish species carry different mercury levels and allergen profiles. Seniors relying on accurate labeling to manage their health are being systematically deceived. Isn't it strange how frozen fish companies can mislabel species for years before anyone catches them? What else are they hiding in those breaded boxes? Coming in at number 7, CPAC Shrimp and Seafood Company. CPAC promises restaurant-quality shrimp and seafood, frozen for convenience without sacrificing taste. The packaging shows plump, glistening shrimp and perfectly grilled fish, but reality diverges sharply from marketing. Multiple FDA warning letters have been issued to CPAC facilities for repeated sanitation failures, including the presence of Listeria monocytogenes in processing environments. Listeria is particularly deadly for seniors. It crosses the blood-brain barrier and can cause meningitis, especially in those over 65 or with weakened immune systems. The shrimp products, often imported from Southeast Asian farms, have tested positive for banned antibiotics and growth hormones. These chemical residues accumulate in your system, interfering with prescription medications and kidney function. Seniors on blood pressure medication should be especially wary. Certain antibiotic residues can cause dangerous drug interactions, leading to sudden drops in blood pressure or heart arrhythmias. CPAC's breaded shrimp and coconut shrimp products contain excessive sodium, often 600 to 800 milligrams per serving, far more than the 200 to 300 milligrams listed on older labels. For seniors managing hypertension or congestive heart failure, this hidden sodium can trigger fluid retention, swelling, and cardiac strain. The company's quality assurance claims are contradicted by independent lab tests, showing that up to 30% of their shrimp products contain undisclosed additives like sodium tripolyphosphate, a chemical used to artificially inflate weight and improve texture. This additive is linked to kidney damage and accelerated bone loss in older adults. The smell test won't save you here. Frozen shrimp are often treated with sulfites to prevent discoloration, masking the ammonia odor of spoilage. What appears pink and appetizing may harbor bacterial contamination invisible to the naked eye. CPAC's marketing emphasizes wild-caught and sustainable sourcing, but investigations revealed that much of their supply chain involves farmed shrimp raised in polluted waters, exposed to industrial runoff and heavy metals. Mercury, cadmium, and lead have all been detected in trace amounts, traces enough to harm seniors whose kidneys can no longer efficiently filter toxins. Most people never learn how to identify contaminated seafood, but we'll break it down at the end of the video. Want to stay ahead of food dangers and hidden risks? Hit subscribe now so you don't miss the facts that could protect your health. Coming in at number 6, Trident Seafood's frozen products. Trident Seafoods is one of the largest seafood companies in North America, marketing itself as a leader in sustainable, high-quality fish. Their frozen salmon, pollock, and cod fillets fill grocery store freezers coast to coast. But beneath the corporate sustainability reports and glossy packaging lies a pattern of regulatory violations and consumer complaints. FDA inspections of Trident processing facilities uncovered inadequate monitoring of critical control points, meaning fish may be processed at unsafe temperatures, allowing bacterial contamination to flourish. Seniors are told to eat salmon for omega-3 fatty acids to support heart health, but Trident's farmed salmon has been found to contain elevated levels of polychlorinated biphenyls, or PCBs, industrial pollutants linked to cancer, liver damage, and immune system suppression. These toxins bioaccumulate in fatty fish, and older adults with slower metabolisms are especially vulnerable. The fillets may look pink and healthy, but lab analysis reveals chemical residues that your body cannot eliminate. Trident's pollock products, often used in fish sticks and breaded fillets, have been flagged for containing parasites that survive inadequate freezing protocols. While cooking can kill these parasites, seniors with compromised digestive systems may still experience severe gastrointestinal distress. The company promises wild-caught Alaskan seafood, yet investigations have revealed supply chain fraud. Cheaper, lower-quality fish from international waters, mislabeled as premium Alaskan catch. This isn't just dishonest marketing, it's a public health risk. Different ocean regions have different contamination profiles, and seniors relying on accurate sourcing information to avoid mercury or toxins are being systematically misled. Trident's frozen salmon often contains added color, artificial dyes to make farmed fish appear as vibrant as wild-caught. These dyes, including xanthan, have been linked to retinal damage and allergic reactions in sensitive individuals. For seniors with existing vision problems or on medications affecting liver function, these additives can exacerbate health issues. The texture of Trident's frozen fish is often mushy or watery when cooked, an indicator of improper handling or excessive water injection to inflate weight. What you're paying for is water and chemicals, not quality protein. Coming in at number 5, Aqua Star Frozen Seafood. Aqua Star positions itself as a premium brand, offering restaurant-quality frozen fish and shellfish for home cooks. The packaging features elegant images of seared scallops, grilled mahi-mahi, and perfectly cooked shrimp. But behind the upscale branding lies a troubling record of safety violations and deceptive practices. Aqua Star sources much of its seafood internationally, with supply chains stretching through countries with lax food safety regulations. FDA refusal reports show that multiple shipments of Aqua Star products were denied entry into the United States due to contamination with salmonella, listeria, and undeclared chemical additives. Seniors with diabetes or heart disease species are at heightened risk from salmonella. Infections can lead to septic shock, hospitalization, and death. The company's scallops, marketed as dry-packed and free from additives, were found in independent testing to be soaked in sodium tripolyphosphate, the same chemical used to artificially plump shrimp. This additive leaches into your body during digestion, stressing kidneys and contributing to phosphate imbalances that weaken bones. For seniors already managing osteoporosis or chronic kidney disease, every bite is a calculated risk. Aqua Star's frozen tilapia and swai fillets, promoted as mild and affordable, are often imported from Vietnamese fish farms where water quality is poorly regulated. These farms use antibiotics banned in the United States, including chloramphenicol and nitrofurans, which have been linked to bone marrow toxicity and cancer. Seniors on chemotherapy or immune-suppressing drugs are especially vulnerable. Consuming even trace amounts of these banned substances can trigger life-threatening complications. The fillets themselves may appear white and clean, but lab analysis reveals residues invisible to consumers. Aqua Star's lobster tails and crab meat products have been flagged for species substitution, cheaper, lower-quality shellfish mislabeled as premium varieties. This fraud means you're paying top dollar for inferior seafood, but more concerning is the allergen risk. Different crustacean species carry different proteins, and seniors with shellfish allergies may react violently to undisclosed substitutions. The company's marketing emphasizes convenience and quality, but the reality is contamination, fraud, and regulatory failure. The buttery texture of their scallops comes not from freshness but from chemical treatment. The firm, flaky appearance of their fish hides antibiotic residues your body will struggle to process. Why do you think the FDA allows seafood with banned antibiotics to reach American shelves at all? Coming in at number 4, High Liner Foods frozen fish. High Liner Foods is a Canadian company with a massive presence in American supermarkets, offering frozen fish, fillets, breaded seafood, and value packs. The brand markets itself as affordable and family-friendly, with promises of quality and safety. But FDA and Canadian Food Inspection Agency reports paint a different picture, one of repeated violations, unsanitary conditions, and consumer deception. High Liner processing plants have been cited multiple times for inadequate temperature controls, meaning fish may sit in the danger zone long enough for bacterial growth to begin. Seniors with weakened immune systems from age, medication, or chronic illness are at extreme risk from Listeria and Campylobacter, bacteria that cause severe diarrhea, dehydration, and in some cases, death. The company's breaded haddock and cod products tested positive for elevated mercury levels in spot checks conducted by state health departments. Mercury poisoning is insidious. It builds slowly, causing memory loss, tremors, and kidney failure. Seniors already experiencing age-related cognitive decline may not recognize the symptoms until irreversible damage has occurred. High Liner's pollock fillets, marketed as a lean protein source for heart health, often contain hidden sodium levels exceeding 500 milligrams per serving, dangerous for anyone managing hypertension or taking diuretics. The company's labeling has been flagged for inconsistencies, with some packages understating sodium content by as much as 30%. For seniors carefully monitoring their intake to prevent fluid retention or stroke, this deception can have fatal consequences. High Liner sources fish globally, including from regions with known contamination issues. Their tilapia products, often farmed in China, have been found to contain antibiotics, fungicides, and heavy metals. These toxins accumulate in fatty tissue and organs, and seniors with liver or kidney disease cannot metabolize them efficiently. The fillets may look clean and white, but internal testing reveals chemical residues that no amount of cooking can eliminate. High Liner's packaging often features phrases like wild-caught or sustainably sourced, but investigations have shown that much of their supply involves farmed fish or species caught using destructive methods. The company's reputation for value comes at the cost of quality and safety. The fish may be cheap, but the health consequences are expensive. High Liner's frozen seafood products have been linked to multiple outbreaks of gastrointestinal illness, with state health departments tracing infections back to specific production lots. Seniors recovering from surgery or managing chronic conditions cannot afford the setback of foodborne illness. The smooth, glossy surface of High Liner's frozen fillets hides bacterial colonies multiplying in the spaces between ice crystals. Don't go yet. The solution comes at the very end, and it could change how you shop for seafood forever. Coming in at number 3 3. Chicken of the sea frozen seafood. Chicken of the sea is best known for canned tuna, but the company also produces a line of frozen seafood products, including shrimp, salmon, and tilapia. The brand leverages decades of name recognition to market itself as trustworthy and nutritious. But recent scandals and inspection failures reveal a company cutting corners at the expense of consumer safety. Chicken of the sea's frozen shrimp products have been linked to outbreaks of Vibrio infections, a particularly deadly bacteria for seniors with liver disease, diabetes, or weakened immune systems. Vibrio can cause necrotizing fasciitis, a flesh-eating bacterial infection that spreads rapidly and often requires amputation or results in death. The shrimp may smell fresh and look pink, but contamination is invisible until it's too late. The company's salmon fillets, marketed as rich in heart-healthy omega-3s, have tested positive for elevated levels of dioxins and PCBs, industrial pollutants that accumulate in fatty fish. These toxins are carcinogenic and neurotoxic, particularly dangerous for seniors whose bodies can no longer efficiently detoxify. The fillets may be labeled as wild-caught, but supply chain investigations have revealed widespread fraud. Farmed salmon from polluted waters mislabeled as premium Alaskan or Pacific catch. Chicken of the sea's tilapia products are largely imported from China, where fish farming regulations are notoriously lax. Independent lab tests found antibiotics, fungicides, and even traces of formaldehyde in some batches. Formaldehyde is a preservative and carcinogen used illegally to extend shelf life and improve appearance. For seniors on medications affecting liver or kidney function, consuming even small amounts of formaldehyde can trigger organ damage or toxic reactions. The company's processing facilities have been cited for inadequate sanitation, with inspectors documenting dirty equipment, improper hand washing stations, and evidence of pest infestations. Frozen seafood processed in these conditions carries a high risk of cross-contamination with fecal bacteria, salmonella, and listeria. Seniors taking proton pump inhibitors or acid-reducing medications have lower stomach acid, making them more vulnerable to bacterial infections from contaminated food. Chicken of the Sea's marketing emphasizes affordability and convenience, but the cost to your health is steep. The company's frozen shrimp often contain undisclosed additives like sodium bisulfite, a preservative that can trigger severe allergic reactions, including asthma attacks and anaphylaxis. Seniors with respiratory conditions or sulfite sensitivities are playing Russian roulette with every meal. The texture of Chicken of the Sea's frozen fish is often slimy or mushy when thawed, a telltale sign of improper freezing, thawing, and refreezing. What appears solid in the package may have already degraded, with bacterial growth well underway. Number 2. Great Value, Walmart. Frozen seafood. Walmart's Great Value brand dominates the frozen seafood market with rock-bottom prices and massive distribution. The packaging promises quality and value, with images of pristine fish and shrimp. But the reality behind Great Value seafood is a nightmare of contamination, fraud, and health risks. Great Value sources its seafood from the lowest-cost suppliers worldwide, often from countries with minimal food safety oversight. FDA import alerts have repeatedly flagged Great Value shrimp for contamination with banned antibiotics, including chloramphenicol, a drug that can cause fatal bone marrow suppression in humans. Seniors undergoing cancer treatment or taking immunosuppressant drugs are at extreme risk. The shrimp may look plump and pink, but they're laced with chemicals your body cannot safely process. Great Value frozen salmon has been found in independent testing to contain some of the highest levels of PCBs and dioxins of any major brand, toxins that accumulate in fat tissue and increase cancer risk. These pollutants are especially dangerous for seniors whose slower metabolisms mean toxins linger longer and cause more damage. The fillets may be advertised as nutritious, but you're essentially eating industrial waste. Great Value's tilapia products are almost entirely imported from Chinese fish farms, operating in polluted waters with no environmental controls. Investigations have documented these farms using animal feces as feed, creating fish that are reservoirs of bacteria, parasites, and heavy metals. Seniors with compromised digestive systems or kidney disease cannot safely consume these products. The fish may appear clean and white, but microscopic parasites and bacterial spores survive freezing and can cause severe illness. Great Value's frozen cod and pollock fillets have been flagged for species substitution, cheaper fish like Vietnamese catfish mislabeled as premium cod. This fraud isn't just financial. Different species carry different mercury levels, allergen profiles, and nutritional values. Seniors relying on accurate labeling to manage their diets are being systematically poisoned. Walmart's supply chain prioritizes cost over safety, and Great Value seafood reflects that. Processing facilities used by Great Value suppliers have been cited for egregious sanitation failures, including raw sewage leaks rodent infestations, and evidence of fecal contamination on processing surfaces. Fish handled in these conditions carry a high risk of Salmonella, E. coli, and hepatitis A. For seniors, foodborne infections can quickly become life-threatening, leading to hospitalization, organ failure, and death. Great Value's packaging often features misleading claims like responsibly sourced or quality guaranteed, but investigations have shown that Walmart's auditing process is superficial at best. The company's focus on profit margins means corners are cut at every stage, from sourcing to processing to storage. The fish may be cheap, but the health costs are astronomical. Great Value frozen shrimp often contain excessive water and additives to inflate weight. You're paying for chemicals and water, not protein. The texture when cooked is rubbery and tasteless, a sign of poor quality and chemical treatment. If Great Value can sell contaminated seafood for years without consequences, what does that say about food safety enforcement in this country? Number 1. Mariner's Cove Frozen Seafood. Mariner's Cove is a lesser-known brand, but it's found in discount grocery chains and warehouse stores across the United States, often marketed as a budget-friendly alternative to premium brands. The packaging shows idyllic coastal scenes and promises fresh, wild-caught seafood. But the reality is far darker. Mariner's Cove represents the absolute bottom of the frozen seafood industry, with a track record of contamination, fraud, and consumer harm that should disqualify it from any grocery shelf. FDA refusal reports show that Mariner's Cove products are among the most frequently rejected at U.S. borders, with shipments turned away for salmonella contamination, undeclared chemical additives, and filth. The term filth in FDA reports refers to decomposed fish, insect parts, rodent hairs, and fecal matter, contaminants that indicate catastrophic failures in sanitation and quality control. Seniors consuming Mariner's Cove seafood are exposing themselves to pathogens that can cause sepsis, organ failure, and death. The company sources fish from the cheapest possible suppliers, primarily in Southeast Asia and China, where regulatory oversight is virtually non-existent. Mariner's Cove shrimp products have tested positive for nitrofurans and chloramphenicol, antibiotics so dangerous they're banned in food production worldwide. These drugs can cause irreversible bone marrow damage, leading to life-threatening anemia and immune collapse. For seniors already managing blood disorders or undergoing chemotherapy, exposure to these banned antibiotics can be fatal. The shrimp may look normal, even appetizing, but they're bioweapons disguised as food. Mariner's Cove frozen fish fillets, labeled as cod, haddock, or pollock, are often revealed through DNA testing to be entirely different species, including escolar, a fish known to cause severe gastrointestinal distress due to indigestible wax esters. Seniors eating escolar disguised as cod can experience explosive diarrhea, dehydration, and hospitalization. The company's quality control is non-existent. There are documented cases of customers finding plastic fragments, metal shavings, and even dead insects frozen inside Mariner's Cove seafood packages. These foreign objects can cause choking, internal injuries, or infections if consumed. The company's processing facilities have been described in inspection reports as grossly unsanitary, with evidence of standing water, mold growth, and inadequate refrigeration. Fish processed in these conditions are teeming with bacteria, Listeria, Salmonella, Campylobacter, Vibrio, all capable of causing severe illness or death in seniors. Mariner's Cove's rock-bottom prices reflect rock-bottom quality. The fish are often past their prime when frozen, meaning they were already starting to decompose. The smell when thawed is often strongly ammoniated or sulfurous, a clear sign of spoilage, but by then it's too late. You've already brought the contaminated product into your home. Mariner's Cove represents everything wrong with the modern frozen seafood industry: profit over safety, deception over honesty, and a complete disregard for consumer health. Statistics show that foodborne illnesses from seafood disproportionately affect adults over 65, with hospitalization rates 3 times higher than in younger adults. Mariner's Cove products are a leading contributor to these statistics. The brand's existence is a betrayal of trust on a corporate scale. They know their products are dangerous, yet they continue to sell them to unsuspecting consumers, many of them seniors on fixed incomes looking to save money on groceries. Safe option 1. Wild Alaskan Company, frozen fish. The first actual safe option is Wild Alaskan Company frozen fish. This subscription-based service sources directly from Alaskan fisheries with full traceability and third-party testing for mercury, PCBs, and bacterial contamination. Every batch undergoes rigorous quality control, with flash freezing protocols that preserve nutrients while eliminating parasite risks. Seniors can trust the labeling. What says wild Alaskan salmon is genuinely wild Alaskan salmon, with documented chain of custody from ocean to freezer. The company prioritizes sustainable fishing methods and transparency, providing detailed information about each catch, including location, date, and species verification. Wild Alaskan Company fish fillets are free from antibiotics, added hormones, and artificial color, just pure, clean protein rich in omega-3 fatty acids that genuinely support heart and brain health. For seniors managing cardiovascular conditions or seeking anti-inflammatory benefits, this is seafood you can trust. Safe option 2. Vital Choice. Wild seafood. Vital Choice specializes in wild-caught, sustainably harvested seafood with some of the strictest quality standards in the industry. Every product is tested for heavy metals, toxins, and contaminants, with detailed lab reports available to consumers. The company's frozen salmon, halibut, are flash frozen within hours of catch, preserving freshness and nutritional integrity. Seniors concerned about mercury can review exact testing data before purchasing. Vital Choice consistently shows mercury levels well below FDA action limits. The seafood is free from antibiotics, chemical additives, and artificial preservatives. Vital Choice's commitment to transparency and safety makes it one of the only frozen fish brands seniors can consume, without fear of contamination or fraud. Don't risk your health on contaminated seafood. Subscribe now, and I'll show you what to avoid and what's actually safe to put on your plate every single week. Subscribe now.